everybody. Doty and myself here for remembering who we are. We got Doty Jones from Quantum Healing for Your Soul. Y'all remember her and myself, Ropes and Wings. And we have an excellent topic for you today. We're going to talk about the spring awakening and, remembering who we are as the light returns. So let's open up this space with our invocation. So let's take a moment to settle into the space. We call forward our higher selves, our guides, all beings of truth, wisdom, and light who walk with us. As we have just gone through the spring equinox, we honor this sacred moment of balance where the light and darkness meets as equals. May this conversation be held in clarity, humility, and service. May the words shared here awaken something gentle and true in every person listening. May this space where remembering happens naturally, not through force, but through presence. We open this conversation now with gratitude for the season, for each other, and for the light that continues to return. Beautiful. This has a
That was beautiful.
what what an excellent conversation we have today. Spring wakes up a lot of things in everybody, and nature and the earth. And Doty and I were just talking about, here in Tennessee, we have what we call five winters, and it's with the different trees that are blooming at the time. And I don't remember the order, but we just went through the redbud winter where the redbud tree was blooming, and we had snow and freezing temperatures. And our next winter will be the blackberry winter, I believe. So we have five winters before we actually get to the summertime heat. So everything just opens up slow and natural. And the spring equinox always marks that sacred turning in nature. And I really I believe, and I look at because we should be on a 13-month calendar following the moon cycles. I believe the spring equinox and the new moon, because the new moon would mark the first of each month if we were following a lunar calendar. So the spring equinox is truly the New Year's Day. So the closest to the April Fool's Day, which is what we know why it was called April Fool's, because that's truly our New Year's Day. That's when things start opening up and going live.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what a time to be alive, right? Witnessing the world as it awakens. Spring. I love spring. Um, and if you're new here, welcome. Welcome to our little chat we're having. And if you're just awakening, there's a lot of people. I'm becoming more and more aware that more and more people are just starting to awaken, and it's perfect timing with the spring, with the trees blossoming, right? And trees, even though they blossom, they all the blossoms don't open all at the same time, right? All trees don't blossom all at the same time. It's like nothing ever blooms all at once. Everything unfolds in God's timing, right? Everything happens for a reason. There's a purpose for everything. So amazing what you're talking about, the trees and all your different winters. And I just had a question in that regard. So if something already blooms and then you have another winter, what happens to those blossoms or that fruit? Do they
Mm.
survive that? What happens to them?
Yeah, I don't know because really, like we had the just before that winter, we had the peach trees were blooming, and
Mine just bloomed.
the blossoms were all, you know, just
There.
there. They just wilted after that winter. Now I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Have to
I don't
see.
know if it affects it much because we always go through these winters and the blossoms do wilt once we hit a winter, and then we do have fruit on the trees. So I'll have to watch
Then
it
it
this
should be
year
okay. Yeah, because
because
it got cold.
yeah, it got really cold. This winter, this one, the red bud winter was a harsher one than usual, I think, because we actually had snow on the ground too. So,
Yeah, I think we didn't get the snow with that one. You got the snow.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we're coming out of the winter mode from being asleep. Then you start to blossom. It's like I love the change of the season. I love the springtime and the grass and the flowers and whatnot. So I have this thing that I do every spring, and I'm going to start it this week actually, because it's just how it's working out for me. I didn't start it last week. I'm starting it this week. Is a detox. I like to do a detox with the change of every season. I came across this recommendation many, many years ago, and I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So I do a juicing detox where I do a lot of juicing of fruits and vegetables and just cleanse. And also I do a parasite cleanse. So I cleanse out the parasites, which I think is important for
Hmm.
everybody to do. So I just share that with everybody out there in case you hadn't thought of that before. But speaking of parasite cleanses and this awakening, kind of goes with what we do as far as our SEHH sessions, doesn't it? Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. We got to take care of the body and clean the house of the body as well. And that's the energetic field too.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
a soul center healing hypnosis session would clean out any energetic parasites or any blockages that you accumulated over this past year.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
equally important.
Yeah, and as people are awakening, I mean, this is what I experienced during my awakening is learning that everything you were told is a lie was kind of like a shock, and it was upsetting. I had all these emotions come up. And
Hmm.
so then what I learned through my awakening and learning about SCHH sessions is the need for healing all of this emotion. So it's all this old trauma, things that have upset you, hurt you, things that were painful that you've stored down deep, deep, deep into your body. Some of that stuff is starting to come to the surface, and that's where the SCHH sessions are helpful. But then not only that, having the sessions they also help you with your journey as far as awakening, don't you think?
Hmm. Oh, absolutely. It opened up everything for, well, like you were saying, that first session just opened everything up. I mean, it cleaned it out, cleaned house.
Yeah.
Um, Things became really flowing and very nice. It wasn't this explosive thing. It was kind of a gradual thing, but once you clean out all those blockages,
Hmm.
everything starts flowing the way it's supposed to again.
Right. Yeah. But you also have to take your time. You can't rush it though, too,
Hmm.
though, and in the same sense. I know for me, and I'll tell you this little story, and this is why it's so true. You don't want to rush into your awakening because and remembering um who you are as you're awakening. So several years ago, I was laying in bed, and I usually do all of the talking to Source or Yeshua, whoever, either in the middle of the night, early morning, or when I wake up. So I'm in bed, and that's when I'm undisturbed. I don't have cats wanting my attention or the dog or my husband. That's my time is then. And so I'm laying there, and I am walking through. I'm like walking into a tunnel and I'm passing children and I can see them. There was these two little boys, and I think they were brothers, possibly twins. And they had brown, straight brown hair. And they were dirty. And there was a little girl, and she was really cute. She had brown, kind of wavy, curly hair. Um, and she was a beautiful little girl, but just such s- sadness, such emotion in her face. And these children, they were all dirty and they were like crouched down. They were like, cowering. They were just had so much fear in them as I'm, walking by them and and I'm stopping and I just said, I can't see this. It's like and I had this sense that I was going into this tunnel to see worse things, to see where did these kids come from? Where did this trauma come from? And I'm not ready. Although I'm awakened and I want to know all there is to know about everything, my soul is not ready to go there just yet. I still have some healing to do. So during this awakening period, the reason I'm telling the story is you don't want to rush your body through it because your nervous system needs to take time to get there. It'll know when you're ready, and then you'll see those things that you want to see.
Hmm.
So, anything you want to share in that regard?
Well, and your story there, I mean, it's just like everything in nature. Everything is blooming slowly. Although sometimes I feel like it's going so fast because I have so many things to do yet before we go into full bloom. But
Yeah.
but the spring awakening is a slow progress. It's not something that just happens overnight. You got your trees
Mhm.
budding, like I said, we have 5 winters before we actually get to the summertime. So it's just a slow process of gradually awakening back up.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and something else that I'll say about as far as when your soul begins to wake up, um, how you know it is you start questioning everything, right?
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, you've learned that you've been lied to your entire life, and then it's like you can't go back. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's like once
No,
you've reached that place, and you're
no.
like, okay, you've got this heightened sense of intuition. It's like you just know things. It's like weird. And then there's all these synchronicities where it's like you always see 444 on the clock. You walk into the kitchen and it's, 1111 or, all those numbers keep appearing. And it's like every day it's the same set of numbers that you keep seeing all the time. And your something I wanted to say about this is your soul doesn't become something new. It reveals what was always there,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, but we're remembering who we are.
Yeah,
It's a remembering more or less, not just a awakening. You're
right,
remembering.
right.
And you think back to that, when we did our Soul Center Healing Hypnosis course, that was in March. So that was our spring awakening.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So it was March. Okay, I got
It was in 22, right? That
right,
was 4 years ago.
March 18th,
Wow. Ah,
2022.
oh my gosh.
And after that course or after that, my first session too, it seemed like it just exploded. You know, I was
Yeah.
moving fast, and it kind of like when we come into spring, like all of a sudden you have this energy. We just spent a whole, winter season internally, not really doing a whole lot, hibernating, if you will. And then the spring starts and you have this energy, you have this vitality again, and you have all these projects. You want to spring clean, you want to do this, you want to do that.
Hmm.
And we took that at the right time. That was our spring awakening
Right.
back in 2022.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. I can remember that. And what is so amazing is when you have these healing sessions that we do, the SEHH sessions, and we're we're experiencing these lifetimes that we had in the past, and they become a memory. So you're remembering who you are, and you, everything happens for a reason. You're shown this lifetime for a reason. There's some trauma, something happened, and you need to do some healing over whatever that was. And you're healing that lifetime and you're also healing the present lifetime, which then heals the future at the same time. Because it's all the same, it's happening all at the same time. That is what is so amazing about these healing sessions. And then you afterward you're like remembering what happened and you're remembering who you are, and things become more clear, things start to make sense, things start to resonate with you, and then it just starts building from there, and you just start to blossom just like the tree, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
What kind of experiences can do you want to share about your sessions and your awakening?
Well, we were talking about memory here too, and we used to always chalk up memory to being older, but I think it has something to do that I'm living more in the now moment So I don't remember the stuff from the past or the future. But with my, I guess my awakening seemed like it happened fast. It probably was gradual, but it seemed like it just really happened fast. And with my programming as a preacher's kid and those realizations, like I wasn't told the whole truth. This is crazy.
Well, that was like for me. So I just felt like I withdrew and I was like mad and I was angry and I was like, I've been lied to. Did you have anything like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So there's one moment, and I don't know when it was, but it was probably 18, 19, maybe 19. And I was reading, well, I wasn't reading the Law of One, but I there was a person that was going through the Law of One and talking about it. He used to be a preacher, and he was studied the Law of One, and he was doing each session. And as I was listening to that, I had this, I was laughing, I was crying, I was shouting out loud, like, holy shit, I been lied to. This is not right. I don't have to worry about it. So
Yeah,
that's what I
that's all
remember.
those yeah, all those emotions coming up. That's what I said. You just have all these emotions come up. That's things that need to be healed,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
As they come up, as they surface. Um, yeah, it says in the Bible that we were made in his image.
Hmm.
And yes, we are a fractal of God.
Right.
He took a part of himself and created trillions upon trillions of souls so that he could experience all there is to experience. And we are all connected.
Hmm.
We're all brothers and sisters.
Right.
So, do you have anything that you want to share in that regard? Anything that's come up in any sessions about that?
Oh my God, there's so much because it always points back to that we're all connected. We're all fractals of God. We
Hmm.
even every being, every living thing, every perceived non-living thing is a fractal of God. And
Everything
I
has
th
consciousness.
right. And I think when I went through, it was kind of like a salvation, if you will, when I went through that reading. Um, it just opened up and I realized all the stuff that I was taught before was not true. The fact that we're all fractals of God, and we don't ever die. We're just a, a eternal light being living out a temporary human existence on this earth, and
Yeah,
we don't go to hell.
that was all made
It's
up.
not, it's all made up, non-existent, just to keep you in control. So I mean, it was just crazy
Yep.
how that all just, sorry for that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you that anything, I mean, so the Bible, yes, there is a lot of truth in it, and yes, there's a lot that's not true. So the way I look at it, if it is fear-based, it's a lie. Anything that is fear-based is meant to keep you in control. It's a mind control technique that they have, just like the pandemic we had. They scared us all into this thing and locked us all up and took away all of the fun things that I mean, you couldn't even go to church at that time. This was before my awakening. I woke up during the pandemic. So at the start of it, it's like nobody could go to church. They shut everybody down. And it was all mind controlled based on fear. And so I say if it is fear based, it's a lie.
Hmm.
And so like my husband keeps, sending me videos about why the Bible is true and this and that and whatnot. And if it has any hint of if you don't believe in this, you're gonna go to hell.
Hmm.
No, not gonna. It's fear based. Not gonna believe that. My God. is a loving God. I have felt his energy run through me.
Hmm.
It was the most amazing thing I'd ever felt in my entire life. And I had tears running down my face as I laid there, just taking it all in. I've experienced it twice. And God would not say, you do this or else. I
Hmm.
don't believe in that.
Right. Absolutely. Well, you brought up the Rona thing. I think most of us awoken around that time. So that was a spring awakening for a lot of us.
Yeah, that was the spring of 2020.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That
that's when it all started.
that's when I started because none of it made sense.
Mm-mm.
Not a
Nope,
bit.
not that's when I went on and started watching everything I could about what is true. And then, you get contradictory stories. It's like what is true and what isn't true. And I was, getting angry. This person says that, but this person says that. And so what I had to learn to do was I'd have to sit on it and I would, when I'm laying in bed, my alone time, I would think about it and I would, ask God or ask Yeshua, you know, show me the truth. And it was, if it felt good and it felt comfortable, then that's what resonated with me. And then that is the belief I go with. So I could watch a video right now and somebody could be talking about their truth and what they believe is true. And it's like, no, doesn't resonate with me. I
Mm,
switch, go on to something else. So you'll know, you'll get there and you'll start to see what resonates with you, what feels comfortable for you. Because
mm,
everybody's truth is different, actually.
hmm.
My truth is different from your truth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we had a little easier time of that because we're speaking to things, we're speaking to demons, we're speaking to lost souls and stuff all the time. So our discernment
Yeah.
has really heightened that we can tell by just hearing it, by
Oh,
feeling
thank
it.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I had an experience recently at work. I was talking. I have a gal at work. She's starting to awaken. She's starting to ask me questions because she knows how I am. It's really funny. And I can't remember what her question was to me, but I said, I could call Archangel Michael right now, and there'll be a 12-foot angel standing behind me. And I went like this, and I was like, there he is. He was there. I could feel his energy. It was just like so amazing.
Hmm.
So it is so cool to be able to know how protected I am and to feel the energy, what is good. My husband will question me sometimes, well, how do you know you're not talking to some demon? I said, because I can feel the energy. And I
Hmm.
tried to explain to him, when you walk into a room and people have been arguing, you can feel that tension in the air. That's energy. That's negative energy. You can feel that. That doesn't feel good.
Hmm.
That's how you know when you're talking to a good being. Now, there are tricksters out there.
Hmm.
There are tricksters out there, but if their message is fear-based at all, you know, it works.
Yeah. And
That's how I look at it.
and the tricksters, because of course, through our sessions, we've had a lot of them trying to play higher selves and play other
Definitely.
beings and stuff like that, and
Yep.
they always slip up.
Yeah.
The more you talk to them, the more you question, they slip up, and you can immediately feel it. But the biggest thing is how it feels when that message is coming across, how they answer the questions, how they you know boy, it's hard to explain. It's how that
They
feels.
they try to tell you that they're supposed to be there. We're like,
Yeah.
no. I
No.
had one tried to tell me he was Archangel Michael and he's supposed to be there. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
No.
Archangel Michael wouldn't take a residence in somebody's body. You're not supposed to be there. So why don't you tell me who you really are?
Right.
It's
That's
funny. I laugh at them sometimes. I had one little creature in me during one of my sessions, He was really funny. He was a little alien being, um, but he was a good alien, but he was having a bad day one day, and he went off on his own. He was just like "Nah, nah, nah," mad and nasty, and he got picked up by dark energy and
Hmm.
sent off to do a job, and it was to hinder me from going down the path that I was headed. He tried to, but he really didn't like doing his job, so he wasn't really good at it. And he was like saying stuff like this in the session, and he was making me laugh. And so he'd been in me. I'd had a few sessions, and it was the gal, she's going through the script. She was, it was doing when we were practicing. He goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, come on, come on." I was like that. It was so funny. Then when he went to go leave, I could see him. He's like, because he was only like, I don't know, 3 feet tall, 2.5, 3 feet tall, and he's holding hands with an angel, and he's walking off into the light, and he's like looking back at me. He's like, he goes like this. He was so funny. So these sessions that we have, they're quite entertaining sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I love talking to him because the amount of stuff that comes across is just funny. And I like
It
talking
it
to him.
is. Yeah, so do I. So do I. I had one session with a gal one time. She was attacked in her dream state, and she contacted me. She's like, "Can I have a session?" And there was a red devil that had attached to her, and he was choking her with her necklace while she was in bed. And so we're going through the session, and I'm talking to this little red devil, and I had to like mute myself so that I wasn't laughing out loud into her ear, because he goes, and then Archangel Michael came in, and he was just all upset because Archangel Michael came in. And I just started like busting up laughing. It was just so funny listening to this devil tell his how he became mad that Archangel Michael came in and saved her from him. And it was funny.
Oh, I have to mute myself a lot as well because it is just hilarious.
Yeah.
How they just, poor souls, they're other fractals of God, um, that just tripped, fell, and got lost and got
Mm.
conned into doing some evil shit, or whether you want to call it, darker stuff to people.
Yeah.
And you know, and once they see the light where they came from, they're more than happy to ready to go.
That's when they remember who
Yeah,
they
they start
are.
to remember where they are.
And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to go back there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what's really cool.
Hmm.
I've rescued a fallen angel once, and when she got to light, she was like, "Thank you, Doty." I was like, "Oh, it felt good when I
Right.
when I when I heard that." But so with these healing sessions, I think like with the springtime, this is one thing I wanted to say today. So springtime, spring cleanup, it's always good to have regular SCHH sessions, because when we heal, we're just healing one layer of the onion. And sometimes during one session, you don't even get that full layer of the onion off. Because if you ever gone to peel an onion, sometimes it tears. You just get a part of the one peel off of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get the whole first layer. And so it it takes several times sometimes to get that first layer of the onion off. And we heal, with one layer at a time. We're bringing up the old trauma and healing that and transmuting that energy and sending it out. And then it's time to have another session. So springtime is a good time to go through and have another healing session to clean up and do some spring cleaning in your body. Because I think, being that there's so many layers that we have to go through, and having regular sessions, eventually you're going to reach, this is what I believe, that you're going to reach enlightenment. And I think that is the goal. And I think that is where 5D is,
Hmm.
or Christ consciousness. And I woke up a few weeks ago and I was like, the second coming of Christ is all of us reaching Christ consciousness. With the Easter coming, it's like the Christians believe, God is going to come again and rescue them. It's like, no, Yeshua is not coming to save us. He did not die for our sins. He was here teaching us how to reach Christ consciousness. We have to learn to save ourselves.
Hmm.
And that's what he was trying to teach when he was unalived.
Hmm.
That's my belief.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
once we all awaken and we go through all of this healing, and it's many, many layers of healing to heal all that deep-seated trauma, not only from this incarnation, but from past incarnations. And I've had thousands of past incarnations. I've got a lot of healing that I need to do before I can reach enlightenment, before I can reach Christ consciousness, which is the goal. What do you
Mhm.
want to say about that?
I, um, I just, when you were talking about that, because my dad's a preacher and, always talking about the second coming of Christ. And I'll even say it. I'm like, he's already here. It's already happening. We're waking up to our own Christ consciousness within us. And that's something that Yeshua Jesus said multiple times when he was here. It's written in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yep.
And you will do greater things than I. And so it's just that awakening to that Christ consciousness again.
Yeah. I have a
So
question for you. You're a preacher, son. This is good. So, with regard to Yeshua rising from the dead, I've heard different stories. So, I've heard that angels broke the rock, turned him into dust, and that's why his body was never found, and that his disciples had reached enlightenment and saw Yeshua in his light body and was able to communicate with him that way. What is your take on it, or what has come through in your sessions with that in that regard?
I don't know if anything has ever come through in the sessions about that. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. I,
Do you have an opinion about his rising? He is risen.
I so the, there's so many things. I mean, it even describes the um what's it talking? The fluid moving through our body too, that it goes down, dies, and then it rises again. Um, the cerebral spine. I shouldn't even talk about it because I don't know exactly. I I I feel like the crucif
Crucifixion.
crucifixion. I can't even talk now. I feel like the crucifixion was just they knew that people would worship that blood sacrifice. And I think that's the reason that they did it.
It was
I,
satanic.
yeah, I don't, the, I mean, the disciples probably did see his light body as he did rise after 3 days. Uh, Yeah, I don't know. You put me on the spot because I just don't know where to go with it.
Sorry,
I'm not even sure what to even say about it because again, I don't, there's so
we have
many.
to do a session and call him in and ask him.
Right. That's something I've
Yeah.
never even thought to ask in a session. I think it would be important to come across. I don't believe that, we all rise again. We don't actually die. Our true
Mm-mm.
spirit, the body dies. We rise again. Um, I think that was basically metaphor for us rising into our Christ consciousness.
That sounds that resonates with me. That sounds perfect.
Right.
Yeah. I think okay, so the Bible is written and people read it and they're like, this is what this means. And it's like, well, let's ask 10 different people to read it separately and you're going to get 10 different interpretations,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that one was a good one. That one resonates with me.
Hmm.
I agree with that one right there. Did I tell you about the story of me working with Yeshua
Mm,
at
no.
church one day? Okay. So see, how many years ago has it been now? 4 years ago, almost. It's been almost 4 years that the last time I went to church and took part in communion is during this awakening. And so I'm sitting there in church, and I had heard, oh, the communion, it's satanic, it's drinking the blood of Christ, it's eating the body of Christ. That's cannibalistic, that's satanic, and the whole communion thing is a satanic ritual. So
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm like, well, at that time it didn't resonate with me. So I'm sitting there in church, and then all of a sudden, it was weird the way this came over me. And this is what happens when you go through these awakenings. They just hit you like like rolling thunder, just slams right into you. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I just like saw this ritual taking place. It just looked completely different to me.
Hmm.
And then I'm like told to get up, and I go up there and I take part in this, and I wanted to puke. I
Hmm.
wanted to run out of there and throw up. It just made me sick. I just couldn't stand it. So we get in the car and we're leaving. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to tell my husband I can't do this anymore?
Hmm.
And so, I eventually I told him after we got home how I felt, and I just can't do communion anymore. So then, so fast forward, it was 2 years ago. I'm in Pennsylvania. We're visiting our son, and we went to church one Sunday when we were there. And my husband's like, goes to grab my hand for me to go up with him to go to communion. And I'm like, I can't. And so they go up, and this preacher, the way he was talking, oh my gosh, he made my skin crawl. Here, eat the body of Christ. Here, drink the blood of Christ. And I was just like, oh, it just made me just want to, just
Hmm.
was gross. And so I was just talking to Yeshua, please forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. And so he showed me all these there was like 5 demons sitting outside this church, and they were all laughing, and they're like, oh, haha. They think it's funny that there's these people inside taking part in this satanic ritual, and they're just finding joy in it.
Hmm.
And then next thing I see, he shows me is, and I was helping him, we were putting bubbles of white light around each person after they came away from the pulpit, after they took part in communion. We were protecting them with source light.
Hmm.
And I was like shocked. I was like, oh, I like literally like was like, wow. And I looked over at him, and he just smiles and he just winks at me.
That's awesome.
So we were like protecting them. And then so when you walk out of the church, these demons can't attack you. They couldn't hurt you. So
Hmm.
that's what happens. Because he told me, and he's told me that twice, that I've gone to church and I've asked, you know, to forgive them for they don't know what they're doing. He says, I know their hearts are good. I know their intentions are good. So he knows everybody's intention is good. And my husband's like, and I told him this, and he goes, see, you can do it. It's okay. I'm like, no, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Once you can't go back. So he still thinks I should. He doesn't see it that way. He thinks he's putting Christ in his body, and I'm like, the kingdom of heaven is already there.
Mm.
You don't need to keep putting it in. But anyways, that's so short. And I want to say, the Yeshua that I saw, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but somebody had created an AI image of what Yeshua would have looked like from the burial cloth of Turin.
Hmm.
Have you seen that
Yeah.
AI video?
Okay.
That is the face that I saw. When I saw that, I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, that's who I saw right there,
Hmm.
that face. It had one look in it, in this, it was an animated image of him. He opened his eyes, he kind of like turned his head, and there was one m way that it moved and looked. That was the face that I saw.
Hmm.
It was incredible.
Oh, absolutely. So, well, there's all kinds of stories that the actual image that they have of Christ is not which pope or which there was a pope that his son, his murderous son, that they used his image.
Oh, I had not heard that story.
Oh yeah. So the awakening is never glamorous. because
Yeah.
I feel the same way that you do, especially, like when my brothers or dads say you need to accept the blood of Jesus Christ into your life. And I'm like, nope, I will never ever bow on my knees and do that. I never ever will. I will not take that blood sacrifice
Yeah,
because
this is painful.
yeah, because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube for sure.
Mm-mm.
Once you see all that is, or most of what we definitely haven't seen all that is, but once you start seeing and start remembering yourself, it doesn't make sense anymore. It makes your skin crawl
Yeah. Oh, it does me.
to watch that. And and this when they say that to me, I'm like, oh, God, I never will. No, that's not what it means.
I know. Yeah, I'm hoping someday he may awaken. Haven't found the right video to send to him. I have to be gentle with him
Hmm.
because he's still very strong in his ego.
Hmm.
I just sometimes I shake my head. You know, he's one of those when he does something, he's very proud of it and he wants me to be all excited and proud with him too. And I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to go stroke your ego." He's just got it's like, "Okay, you did something good. You're supposed to do that." It's like you loaded the dishwasher. Thank you. I expected that. I don't think you need a pat on the back just because you loaded the dishwasher. You know, I mean, it's things like that.
You're right.
He's got too big of an ego still. But I love him. He's a good man and he's got a good heart and he's a funny guy, very smart, very, very smart guy. That's why I've got to find the right video to send him to help him awaken. But yeah, it's painful. This awakening thing, being the only one awake in the family is very, very painful. It's not for everybody, that is for sure. When you've got couples that both of them are awake and going through things together, oh gosh, you are so lucky to have to go through this alone. Oh my gosh, it is so difficult.
So, so Dodie, what we have to do is we have to take some points from the spring awakening.
Yeah,
It's gradual, it's slow. It's I don't think it's our responsibility to make sure that we show them the right videos or do the right things. I think that, we just live by example.
yeah,
And eventually they'll start seeing it on their own. And it's not something that we can push, although we'd love to, because it is very difficult to have people around you, um, you know, like they're stuck because it's really annoying to me, and you don't want to be in their presence sometimes, like you're talking about stroking his ego when he does something. So it's very annoying because I have a few people in my family that are like that too, that want, they gotta say, well, I did this today, I did that. I'm like, great. That's
yeah.
what it's what we're supposed to do anyway. So fine. So it's
Oh my
but
gosh.
so I don't, it's supposed to be gradual. It's supposed to be slow for everybody, and I don't think it's our responsibility to try to wake them up. We just do our own work, and by demonstrating that and living in that light and that peace, and it will it'll be shown to them. They'll see it, and they'll start discovering. Our awakenings were just like videos being presented to us. Just, you're scrolling through something, and all of a sudden this video pops up, and you're like, holy shit. That
Yeah.
I think our guides, our teams actually put those right things in front of us. It doesn't necessarily have to be videos. I mean, it could be the synchronicities, the sequential numbers and stuff
Hmm.
like that that just put to you at the right time. And I don't really necessarily believe it's all of our guides, it's our higher self. I think we made that plan that
I agree.
at this point, here's your signpost. This is the way
Yep.
you're supposed to go, and you see that signpost and move that direction, and it just keeps happening all through. I think it's kind of planned. We planned it out when we
Yeah.
chose to come into this life. We planned out how our awakening was going to happen.
Yeah, I
So
think so.
there might be still things that, your husband and other people around us that still need to learn or do before they get to that point. So,
Yeah, I agree. There's something going on with him right now because he is just shoving religion down my throat
mm,
with
mm.
like daily videos, sometimes multiple videos a day. And I'm like, I'm working. What are you doing? It's like I want to say, get off your phone,
Right,
get something done.
right.
But yeah, so there is something stirring in him right now. So I think he is searching for something. I think you're right. You're absolutely right. He is searching for something right now.
Hmm. Hmm. Because
So something is going on.
so that might be the start of his awakening because it's, like I said, it's not glamorous. There's confusion, curiosity. You're questioning old beliefs, and he's
Mhm.
searching to find, some meaning in it.
Why it's
Um,
true. Yeah, he's like, what? This is
like,
why it's true. He's looking for, yeah, that's exactly. He's starting to question things. So he's looking for why the Bible is true. That makes
uh-huh.
total sense. Yeah, I think that's what's
So,
going on.
so it's a mad dash, and you could look at it. There's infinite possibilities and reasons. Is maybe some of the demons that are attached in his energetic field see that happening, and they're starting to shove that stuff in there to make it so it
Makes
doesn't
total sense.
go that way either. So that
Yep.
happens as well. So there's infinite possibilities, and you really wouldn't even know until you can get them into a hypnosis session to see what's exactly going on.
And he will not have one.
You won't have one
Nope.
because I mean it's challenging the old beliefs and that old programming. For me, I didn't really feel like it at the time, but that old programming was traumatizing.
Oh yeah.
When I had that awakening where I was really realizing that I was lied to and stuff, I had a lower back pain that was always in my back. It was always there, just constant, constant, constant. I even had back surgery and stuff because of it.
Hmm.
But as soon as I hit that realization that that old programming, that religious belief system was a lot, it wasn't a lie that, my preacher dad was telling me on purpose. It was just how he was led to believe.
Hmm.
But once I realized that that was not true, that back pain just went disappeared.
Isn't that amazing?
And if you all well know that a lower back actually holds, that's our root, that's our belief system, that's and and it was just stored there and it just disappeared. That time when I hit that realization, I'm like, holy shit, my back pain just disappeared. It's just gone.
Isn't that amazing? Those aha moments. I love
Yeah.
them. When you
Hmm.
get that realization, it's part of awakening to the truth.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we have a question here. Talk about the infiltration of artificial intelligence. Thank you for the comment, by the way. And
It's
nano robotics in people and what the symptoms are to alert us that it is that attached to us. Go ahead. You want to start with that?
I'm not okay, so this probably throws me off guard, like your question about the crucifix.
Yeah, Yeshua.
Yeshua.
But well, I
S-
know when I can tell you from personal experience, when I can feel that I've got something attached to me, I just feel a heaviness. Something doesn't feel right, and then that's when I'm like, I think I need to have a session. Something's not right. So
Mhm.
you feel a shift in energy. So before I was awakened, before I had my first session, I didn't think I had anything attached. I was a good person. I went to church. I believe in God. Right? The whole thing is like, how could anything be attached to me? I had a lot of stuff attached to me, and I'm still pulling up old emotions and having to heal from those old emotions as well. And so, after clearing myself and having sessions, and then something would get attached to me again afterwards, subsequent to a healing session, something new, you can sense it. Your things change. You it or anger comes out of nowhere or talking to someone and you'll snap at them and you're in your mind you're like, why did I just say that in that way? I didn't mean that. Why did that come out that way? That wasn't you. That was an attachment coming through. And a lot of times it is something AI. I had AI in my leg. It was put in there when I had some back surgery, and it was to try and steer me down the wrong path. That little alien guy that was in there was supposed to be controlling this device. So he was in there with this controlling device trying to steer me down a different path than the one that I was headed down. So you might have pain and discomfort when you have these artificial implants, nanobots, whatever inside your body. You'll feel different. You'll feel a different energy. You might have depression. You'll have thoughts that are not your own. You're like, where did this thought come from? It's like, I don't want to go do that, but why am I thinking that's what I need to go do? Things like that.
Hmm.
Right, Tony?
Right,
Anything else you
right.
want to add?
Yeah, no. So, um, when we're going through our sessions, there's AI, the implants and all that stuff. They are a fractal of God as well. So they have a dark or light thing to them. So we have to discern those in the session, whether they are for you or not for you. Because our star families, our guides, even ourselves as the higher self has put that stuff there too to help us through the life. So we have to figure out whether or not it's causing you harm, if it was put there to help you as well. So we kind of discern that just like we would a demon or um, those implants and nano things. So in through sessions, because we talked about the pandemic and that a lot of the jiggy jags that were put into people, yes, there are a lot of that kind of stuff was in those things. And we
Yeah.
remove that stuff and it causes all kinds of issues. Not not, of course it's causing other physical symptoms and issues, but it's causing energetic interference and all that. And so we have to discern whether or not in the aspect of the jibby jab being put into people, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that was not put in and is not helpful, not beneficial, and we have to remove that. But there is stuff put there like implants and stuff from our star families and our higher self
Hmm.
to help guide us and to help us along the way that so we have to discern whether or not it's for your benefit or not.
And some of it was put there by some aliens is for tracking devices, for
Right,
tracking people.
right.
So there's the whole transhumanism thing going on, the hybrid. So I've been watching videos on this as well. So there are people who are actually abducted
Hmm.
into like a gray alien ship. They're actually removed. For men, they'll take their semen. For women, they'll take their eggs. They'll mess up with the DNA and so that it's part alien and part human. They'll impregnate the woman, and before she finds out that she's actually pregnant or before she starts showing, she's abducted again. They take that baby and they put it in an artificial womb of some sort and they continue to grow that being that way. I've been watching videos on this, and some women, there's apparently this guy was telling the story about this gal. She went to the doctor and she finds out that she's pregnant. And she's like, "That's impossible. I'm a virgin." And she's like, I'm Mary here." She's like a pregnant virgin. And then so she then goes to the doctor again, like a couple months later, and there's no baby. It's gone.
Mm,
And they've got some missing time where they were actually abducted and had that thing take place. So there's also that. So some people have implants and they're tracked by nefarious beings out there hovering in our sky, just cloaked behind a cloud or some
hmm.
cloaking device that they have in their ships.
Yeah. So I think
So
it's our job, our not job, but our responsibility as practitioners when we're doing these sessions on people is to discover and find out what's supposed to be there and what's not supposed to be there.
I don't think any implants should remain. I mean, there are some, I know that there's some etheric ones that there are some people who are communicate with. like Pleiadians and things like that, and they've got implants, tracking implants to follow 'em. I understand that they're more etheric.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, those could stay. Um, but the ones that come from the nefarious beings, I don't think any of those should. No,
Oh no, no, those should not stay.
no.
And
But you have to
that's what I
be able
mean
to
is
know,
just discerning which is which,
right?
and checking with the angel team, the higher self, on, who put this here?
And and
Why is it there? What's it doing to the body? Why is it
oh,
affecting?
and communicate with the beings that put it there. Call
Mhm.
in those beings that put it there and communicate with them. Why is there, and is it necessary that it still be there?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I
And
would do.
I've removed a few that were put there for, and we're talking about the energetic field of people, and we're not actually talking about, for the most part, physical
Right. It's all etheric.
implants. It's
Hmm.
all etheric, all energetic. But I've even removed some ones that were actually put there for benevolent means. Is that right? Yeah, benevolent
Hmm.
means, to help them through this, but it was actually causing issues.
Ah,
So after checking, after reviewing it, it was causing issues. We removed it, send it to the light, take the angels, take it out, have the client take it out. Um, so I've removed some ones that were placed there for good reasons, but it was actually affecting them negatively at the
right.
moment. So
Yeah.
so I feel like everything is a fractal of God, whether it's, we call it artificial intelligence, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's all this other things. I mean, I even think my vehicle and everything has a consciousness of its own,
Everything does. You think about
right?
it, everything that is created in this 3D world comes from something organic at some point, right?
Hmm.
So everything has a consciousness. Every plant, I mean, so your furniture, it the tree that was cut to, make the wood for the furniture, everything has consciousness. I
Hmm.
talk to everything. I talk,
Right.
especially my
Absolutely.
plants. I love
Right.
talking to my plants. My tree, my peach tree, after we had our, freeze again after it bloomed, I went out and talked to it, and it's got new leaves growing, and I told it it's doing great. It's growing. It's looking beautiful. I tell it every day it looks beautiful. So yeah, everything has consciousness.
Even inanimate objects, like, we created it. We're such powerful creator beings. We're putting the spark of source in that when we create it with our hands. So everything has a consciousness.
Yep. I had a client. She she actually she cut my hair. She was walking back and forth, and this is when I decided to go to my natural white highlights. We went through an ordeal of growing it out. Um, so I was with her for several hours as we were working through this process of me going to my natural highlights. And she's heard our daughter made some comment about seeing these repetitive numbers. And I said, "Oh, those are angel numbers." And she's like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I work with angels." I told her
Hmm.
that and so she was like intrigued about what I do. So as I gave her a session, she was like trying to, so she's like not awake. So she was like at the beginning stages of awakening, right? So this is like 3 years ago. And she was like describing to me what she was seeing, who she was, because we went through a couple different lifetimes. And she actually, and I was like, is it, and I was like, she was trying to explain to me, I said, is it a Merkaba? And she's like, I don't know. She didn't know what a Merkaba was, but she described herself as a Merkaba. First, she was in a box. Then she's like, well, I'm a triangle. No, I'm like a pyramid. No, there's like two pyramids and they're connected from the bottom. So she's like describing it and it was spinning and whatnot. She described herself as a Merkaba, how she like developed into this Merc butt, which I thought was so cool. Another
Hmm.
really cool thing about her session that I just remembered as I'm telling this one, she when she was a teenager, she was with her boyfriend. They were on a back road here in Arkansas, and they saw a couple of alien beings. And she knew one was male, one was female. She had no idea how she knew that, but she did know that. And so she, in her session, was shown, she went back to that moment and she came to this realization in the session that that was her in the future.
Mm.
So her future self is an alien being, and it came to visit her and just like checked in on her when she was out with her boyfriend when she
Hmm.
was a teenager, which I thought was so cool. How
That's
everything
awesome.
is happening. Yeah, I know. What an awesome thing to experience. And so she was like kind of freaked out about it.
Yeah.
But
I
that was very cool. So back to that everything is part of consciousness and source and whatnot. She saw herself as a Merkaba.
mm,
It was pretty cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What the Merkaba, we're talking about a Merkaba. Probably a lot of people don't know what a Merkaba is, but it's that geometry around the body that some people see, right?
It's a two pyramids. So you've got your pyramid at the
Hmm.
top and a pyramid at the bottom, and they sit on each other just a little cattywampus, and they spin
Hmm.
different and around you. So you've got this spinning protection around you.
Right.
And Archangel Metatron is the one who puts the Merkaba on you.
Hmm.
So I always ask him every morning, make sure my Merkaba is in place and protected. And
So,
as I'm headed, I said, I'm protected with my Merkaba.
so it's kind of the energetic field around us, really, because the way the energy system is spinning and rotating, it's that protective. I mean, it could be actually called God's armor, if you will.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's your aura, your protection around you.
Yes.
Um, and when you were talking about Merkaba, it kind of brought up the thing, because we were talking about AI, but we've seen in sessions how we pilot ships, and those ships are organic, yeah,
Hmm.
are organic consciousness. We call it artificial, and I even asked about that one time. We call it artificial just so we are kept from really understanding what it is, but it's just intelligence, it's consciousness. It's, you
Hmm.
know, and that ship, and that we've seen it in sessions how we pilot spaceships or other things, and we pilot with our mind by connecting with that, you know, consciousness of that ship.
Hmm.
It's an organic living intelligence. It's a fractal of God as well. And that's how we pilot that ship.
Yeah. We're going to be there again soon.
It's interesting. Yeah.
I believe so. I believe it's coming probably maybe as soon as a couple of years from now.
I,
I
yeah,
command it to happen. It will happen.
uh, there's a lot of people I don't know if they're ready for that yet, but
No, no. We're still at we're in spring. We're just,
the
people
blossom,
are just blossoming right now
right?
into this awakening phase. Well, we've already been at this for an hour, Tony. Did you want to continue or do you want to go ahead and we'll
Well,
thank thank you for the question, by the way.
is is anybody there?
Do
Okay, so
want to do a
I was
closing
gonna
prayer?
I was gonna see if we had any other questions or anything like that. We, you know, this spring awakening for all of us is important, and enjoy it. Take your time. Just welcome that creator energy coming in and doing things, cleaning things up. Get yourself a session. We have our links are in the description if you'd like to do a session or have a session by Doty or myself. Um, take care of that spring cleaning in your own body. So let's go ahead. Let's do the closing meditation here now. Let's take one breath together. Inhale deeply and then slowly release. As we're closing this conversation, we honor the turning of the season. The light is returning, not all at once, but steady. May you feel permission to awaken at your own pace. May you trust the small signs of life returning into your heart. May you remember that growth does not require perfection. Like the earth in the spring, you are allowed to begin again. May the coming weeks bring clarity, renewal, and quiet courage. And wherever you are on your journey, may you continue remembering who you are. And thank you for walking with us today.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful. So Until next time, keep walking gently and keep remembering who you are. All right. We love
Right.
y'all.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for
Have a good one.
watching.